What's up, YouTube? It's me, the Artisan MC, and today I'm going to review for you Masters of the Universe Revelations, episodes 3, 4, and 5. Well, I just finished watching these three episodes, and it was good that I watched the three of those together instead of breaking it up into two parts because they flowed right into each other. Once you were in the story, you didn't want to actually leave it. And I have to actually give some props to Kevin Smith on this one that it flowed very good in the sense that you wanted to stay engaged and involved in the story as it moved along. Now, episode 3 picks up with Orko, Duncan heading off to try to take the sword to someone who can actually repair it. And figure out a way to use the sword to heal the Eternans who were infected with the technovirus. Now, this is interesting to me because they introduced another character, and this character was Gwendor. I think that was his name, right? Gwendor. And he was the troll from the Masters of the Universe movie, the live action movie with Dolph Lundgren. That made me laugh. It made me laugh from a good place because that character was goofy in the movies. In live action, it was goofy. In this animated version, it's pretty goofy too. But it was a little bit more fun to see him interacting with Orko and Duncan as they tried to work on the sword. And it was a fun bit of nostalgia to pull that in because one of the things that you notice from this series is the voice actors. And the funny part about that is that the motherboard character, that the voice actor that's playing her, is Megan Foster or Meg Foster. And if you remember, Meg Foster was Evelyn in the live action Masters of the Universe movie. So that makes it a bit fun to see these callbacks being thrown in there to the Masters of the Universe movie. And sure enough, it was one thrown in every episode from 3, 4, and 5. There was one thrown in at each point in that. Now, the story, although it's in 30-minute episode, it does cover three different strands. You get the people working on trying to fix the sword so it can heal the rest of the Eternans. You got what's going on with Adam in the kingdom. You got what's going on with Evelyn and Tila training in her new Ka abilities. And you also have revelations with Skeletor and Hordak and learning that Skeletor is Keldor, that it wasn't a lie that he was saying, that he was, in fact, turned into Skeletor by grabbing the Staff of Havoc. And Hordak wiped his mind and twisted his information so he never remembered being Keldor. Now, this was something I don't think went into the original Masters of the Universe cartoon, but it is a welcome addition, and it makes sense to have this there. To me, it makes sense because you need a reason for Skeletor to always want to take Grayskull and threaten Eternia. By him being the once promised king, they set him up in a sort of Loki arc. And sure enough, in this last three episodes, there was a couple of nods to Loki in it. But what it does, it sets up a reason and a drive and a desire for him to want to take Eternia. Because deep down, whether he remembers it or not, he does believe it belongs to him. He does believe that. And that's why he wants the throne. Because by rights, it should have been his. So, from a confrontation with Motherboard, once Skeletech embarrassed himself in front of Hordak, you start seeing his actual human side locked in his brain and starts filling himself in. And what it does, it reignites Skeletech's passion for conquest and not just being the lapdog and the whipping boy, but actually having his own desires and that he is great of his own and he will find a way to take over and get what he deserves. One of the Stark um, similarities I'm getting out of this is there is a lot of Marvel similarities in this last three episodes. And it's mainly in the beginning where you see Hordak and his armada because it just makes you think of Thanos. The crew that he has around him, it's similar to the Black Order. It is. And it has a very Marvel feel to it. Whereas Hordak is actually a badass, but he doesn't have to really do anything. He is a badass sitting still and talking very threateningly but calm. Now, in the sense of Tila, you have her training with her new Ka abilities and her new Ka magic. And you see her training with Lynn and Lynn bringing that out of her, bringing that power out of her and teaching her how to access it. And one of the ways she teaches her how to access it is by messing with her about her relationship with Adam and about her feelings that she actually has for Adam. Now, this is interesting because you juxtapose this with her feelings and her powers raging when it's a mention of Adam and having her actual heart's desire with Adam and never being able to have it. But then it is devolved into a point where the two women are laying down side by side, and Tila is talking about how she never felt like this before. She's never had that feeling before. It's like, dude, what is this? A recruitment video for lesbianism? Like, like that is a stereotype I've been hearing since I was a teenager. That's a stereotype I've been hearing since I was a teenager. So it's very evident to me when I look at it, like, okay, that's supposed to be. But I don't know. It's funny. It's like they want to put Tila with He-Man, but they still want to lean on a little bit that it might be some girl stuff happening. Might. Since the last show really got flame for that, maybe they're staying away from it. I don't know. But now, by the time you get to the fourth episode, you get more of a reveal that Hordak has come and taken over. But you get the understanding that Skeletech and Motherboard were just tools. That Hordak, in and of himself, just wants Eternia, Eternos, that planet, and Grayskull and his power. But he himself cannot really grasp it. He has to work through people to get it. And in the finale, it's the reason is given why that is, which is very interesting because there is a lead that they leave in there that they don't address. It's shown, but it's not addressed. And it would have been useful, but I'm thinking they want to do another show or so after this, which would be pretty interesting in and of itself. But what you get from there is more long dialogue with Skeltech, Skeletech, because he has been put upon by Hordak, sent about his mission. And while doing that mission, Prince Adam is actually captured and brought to him. And because Motherboard has taken control of a power source, Prince Adam doesn't have any power. He doesn't have his sword, doesn't have his power. He is just what he is. He can't change into He Man. And you get a long dialogue scene of Skeltech letting Adam know he remembers who he is and that he is his uncle. Now, this part got on my nerves a little bit because while it was interesting, it did feel a little bit too much like Joker. It sounded like it, he was talking like it, and I think it just came out naturally because the scene was so long with dialogue, with just Skeltech talking. But at different points, it was very Joker, what he was saying and how he was talking. It wasn't really Skeletor. From this point, we get the second dumbest fucking moment in this 5 episodes. And it is Man at Arms, Andra, or I should say Andra at Arms, working with Keldor to vaccinate and protect the people of Eterna by giving them this techno virus or their version of the techno virus. Now, this made me howl a bit because it does seem like this was a scene written during the pandemic. Because while everybody in Eterna needs to be vaccinated to prevent the techno virus from attaching to them or whatnot, they are lining up and having little wafers or little hexagonal pieces put on their tongue like they're receiving communion biscuits. And it is used to then take them over. Now, I thought that was pretty funny given that we know Kevin Smith was raised a Catholic and he's made jokes about Catholic Church and all that. But I'm sure pandemic played heavy into this as well. And he just merged the two together and it made it very, very funny and very like, you're so smart you can build all this technology, Andrea at Arms, but you can't figure out that this is a dumb play. So you're completely stupid at the same time. You keep getting pumped up that you're a genius. Like I was just yelling at the screen that nope, don't do that. Because as soon as the people of Eterna were turned on her, were being controlled by Skeltech, it was like, what did you expect, dummy? Like, come on. You're new to this, right? You're new. Okay. We move on from this, and I'm jumping around because I don't want to spoil the ending, but I can say that episode 4 and episode 5 had the most action, and the fight between Skeltech and Hordak was some good shit. It was some good shit. It really was. I was enjoying that a lot. It felt very Marvel. It felt very Marvel. And I actually thought about it in one scene from episode 5 where everyone is fighting. Everyone is fighting. And then I start doing the count of what we had out there as people are fighting. Thor, Iron Man, Captain America. You kind of got a Wasp or Ant Man. All the pieces are pretty much there, right? All the pieces are pretty much there. I was like, I'm watching an Avengers movie. That's what I'm watching. It's an Avengers cartoon set in Eternia, in the Masters of the Universe. Like, okay. It wasn't taking me out of it completely, but I was thinking of it while I was seeing it happen on the screen, which I just found very interesting. It's like, okay, well, it makes sense. He's pulling in his influences. Now, it may sound like that's excuse making. It's just me understanding where he's getting some of this stuff from and trying to pull it all together. Now, episode 5, even though it's short, it feels like a lot happens in it. And there are a lot of good threads left for more stories to be told or to further the story that has already been told. Um, I like the fact that there was some resolution, there was some healing, and there was some taking accountability for the actions of the past that were done. What I didn't like was the political message at the end. That's what I didn't like. There was a political message there, and I thought it was absolutely ridiculous because it was turned into the very same thing right a minute later. A minute later, it turned into pretty much the same thing. So I'm not understanding how some folks that are really supposedly smart don't see that. You just traded one soul leader for the another one. That it didn't make any sense. I didn't like that there because I blatantly saw what it was, and I'm like, this is bullshit. This is the same bullshit they were running in Marvel with the Black Panther. I'm not into that. That is garbage. It is really garbage. But be that as it may, it was a brief scene. It didn't completely take away from the episode, but it was a groan moment. And not a groan in a good way. A groan in like, oh my God, I can't believe they did this. And this was the episode written by Kevin Smith. Episode 5 was written by him. 4 or 3 and 4 were written by two other people, and they flowed really well together. So I don't know what kind of writing room he has in of his own or at Netflix, but they need to have these people train some other staff because I like that sense of it was still one story that was happening. Even though you had different chefs in the kitchen cooking it, it was still the same meal. What flowed from episode 4 and episode 5 worked. It did flow. I didn't feel like I was having hidden a hiccup or anything like that. That the episode ended and I was, oh, damn. Yes, let's get on with it. It made me want to keep watching the next episode, every episode. And I appreciate that because in 5 episodes, they did what Ahsoka couldn't do in 8. Make me interested and excited to watch the next episode. I was while I was watching this. So for me, I'm gonna end this now because it's kind of late, and I don't want to spoil anything really. I will say you should check it out. It is actually good. It's actually good. I have a better feeling on it and about it than I did about what I was seeing in Revelations. Wasn't feeling that so much. But Revolution makes more sense. Makes more sense, and it was a bit more fun to see everybody on the screen and what was happening. It was some cool shit. They're gonna sell a lot of toys off of it. I know that much. But for me, I'm gonna call it a day. So thank you guys for watching this. If you want to see the full watch and all my uh, editorial comments while I'm watching the videos, you can check it out on Patreon. It'll be up right now, along with the watch and review for episodes 1 and 2. I've been Artisan MC, and I can't find my outro. I'm tired. I'm already tired. There we go. I'm Artisan MC, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.